So WarSide has just released over on Steam a couple days ago for PC, and some people have got their early impressions of the game. And now keep this in mind, the console version of the game is still being developed, but honestly, after just seeing the reviews and the disappointment surrounding WarSide, I gotta say, man, I'm kind of glad that I kept my guard up on this one. So if we go over to the Steam page, we can see that the game is sitting at a 52% mixed review score. And if we take a look at some of the reviews on here as we scroll down, you can see that people are just not happy with the game. So it's obvious that this game was clearly rushed out by these indie developers just so they can try to make a quick buck. Now, from what we've heard, apparently this indie developer studio has like what? I think two, maybe three people working at this studio. But even then, like if you rush a game out, that's still gonna damage your reputation regardless of developer studio size and regardless of whatever game studio you work for. I mean, sure, there's gonna be some criticism involved, but if you try to rush the game out to make a quick buck without polishing the game, that's obviously going to leave a bad first impression on not only you as the developers, but it's going to leave a bad impression on all the players that play this game, especially the Advanced Wars community, because a lot of people have been looking forward to this game only just to be disappointed by the release date of this game. Now, I'm pretty sure some of you folks have heard of this person, but he goes by the name of Mangs, and he is well known throughout the Advance Wars community. And he has played this game, and he has gotten his thoughts and opinions and his impressions of the game, and he was just absolutely disappointed with the way that this game was released. If you guys want more information on this, I'll leave the link to Mangs' video in the description down below so you folks can go check him out. But I gotta say, I feel bad for people who bought this game. I was even looking forward to playing this game at one point when it came out to console, but after seeing the disappointment surrounding this game, I'm just not interested anymore. And I'm just like, okay, well, if this is the current state that the game is at, then I'm just gonna go back to Wargroove and I'll just play there. I mean, say what you will about Wargroove, but at least that game was in a much better state than Warside is. I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, even Wargroove neglected the competitive scene of the Advance Wars franchise. At least Wargroove is actually in a much more playable state, and at least that game is finished, and at least Wargroove actually has the content for the game for people to enjoy. And if you don't like the content that Chucklefish made, you can just make your own campaign and your own levels. I mean, sure, you could probably do that with Warside as well, but at least Wargroove had more depth with the game, and at least Wargroove actually had a dossier for commanders, and at least you had a codex for your units and seeing all the advantage and disadvantage types of what unit counters what. At least Wargroove had a codex explaining what was going on, but Warside had none of that. Like, it's been made very clear that this game was just rushed out there without much thought or effort, and it's sad to see the Advance Wars community just looking for a good game to play, only to just be disappointed by the dark ages of modern gaming. So, unfortunately, it just looks like the Advance Wars community is just going to go back to Advance Wars by web and just continue playing that fan made project instead. It's sad, man. I understand Lava Bird is an indie developer studio, but if you release a game in a bad state, you're gonna get criticism and you're gonna fall under the same umbrella like all these other studios. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. And yet, Lava Bird Studios has rushed this game out, and now the Advance Wars community is just gonna jot this down in their books as Warside being forever bad because it was rushed. Now, correct me if I'm wrong about this next part, but I'm pretty sure we all know what happened with No Man's Sky and Hello Games. I'm pretty sure Hello Games was an indie developer studio as well. I could be wrong about that part, but they released a game called No Man's Sky back in like 2016, and that game went down in like the gaming history books as one of the worst launches in gaming history, and a lot of people just abandoned ship and gave up on Hello Games, but they stuck with their guns like 8 years later since that game came out, and it's been received as a very positive game now. But that doesn't mean everyone's gonna forget about the disastrous launch of No Man's Sky. It's just sad and very unfortunate to see something like this unfold, and it's just some unfortunate news to report on, and it sucks that this has happened, but at this point it is what it is. So I guess this means I'm just going to continue to save my money, and I'm going to continue to stick with games like Wargroove, or I'll even check out games like Advance Wars by Web even. uh, but one thing is for certain, I'm definitely going to be avoiding Warside. I wouldn't be surprised if the game's console version was canceled. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but at this point, man, with the direction that this game is already going down, I just don't see a future for Warside. Now, maybe I could be wrong and they could pull off some kind of miraculous comeback and they could fix the game up, but given my knowledge with the dark ages of modern gaming and the current state that we are all in within the game industry, the chances of that happening are slim to none. You have a better chance of finding a unicorn at the end of the rainbow at this rate. So, with this being said, thank you everyone for watching and for listening. This is just some unfortunate news to report on, but it is what it is. So, with this being said, until next time, I'm talking about the disappointing launch of Warside, and I will see you all later.